Hi students, and welcome back to today's live IELTS classes. In this one, everybody, we are looking at IELTS speaking part 3 about social places or places to socialize, following from our speaking part 2 class that just ended half an hour ago about a good place to meet people. Welcome back, Fuang. Hi, Dylan, Chayani, Natty. Nice to see so many of our members already here, ready to learn. That is fantastic, everybody. This lesson, again, is presented to you by aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that we have for you to improve your IELTS band scores. They power our live classes. This is aehelp.com. We will use this website shortly. Click that big red button that's just above my head to join our premium IELTS package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We're an IDP affiliate, British Council partner, IELTS Test Registration Center. We have been helping thousands of students across the world get their needed IELTS scores for over 15 years. Miriam, to the point, Gurdarshan, Frost, nice to have all of you here with me. That is superb. Excellent. Students, for general IELTS is gieltshelp.com. It's the green background. And again, click this big red button. It is worth it. It's not a lot of money. It's a one-time payment and it's lots of help. We want you to succeed. Of course, we have apps for you as well. Download, install Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help on your mobile. Link it to the websites under the More tab in the app. And use the code READ9 on the websites. That doesn't work on the app. Apps generally don't really have discount codes, but on the website you can use READ9 for a 10% discount. All right. Chen, welcome to our chat moderator. Chen, thank you for sharing the web URL with everybody. And if you have questions, send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com, admin@aehelp.com. If you have last minute questions, Sylviana, last class you said at the end that you have your exam tomorrow. If you have last minute questions, send us an email. We'll do our best to give you the answer before your test. If you want physical books, like paper books, you can find our exams on Amazon when you search for AEhelp's Academic IELTS and GHelp's General IELTS. Students, let's jump right into part 3. So I will post the schedule for this coming week on YouTube in the next day, so keep an eye out for that, or actually in the next few hours even. And keep an eye out for new videos like this reading video here, which is very, very useful. Okay, now let's jump right into part 3. All right. And we'll get going on part 3. Part 3, the last part of the speaking section. Now, before you get too excited, make sure that you just stay focused and do a good job. As long as you had a good topic for part 2, part 3 should be okay. Make sure to avoid words like you, things, and stuff. And make sure to remember your part 2 ideas and answers. So we talked about a dance studio to meet new people in part 2. Okay, so we want to keep that in mind. All right, let's just jump right into it. We've got about an hour for this class today because I'm doing some filming for speaking interviews after this class so that we can bring you even more practice and help in the coming weeks. So let's get to it. Let's talk about social places and practices. What I want you to do, everybody watching, is just give me nice full sentence answers in the chat. I will look at a couple and we'll go from there. I'll talk strategies, I'll talk tips on what to do and how to do. Here we go. Let's look at this first question. What are common places where people can socialize with others? Okay. All right. So give me a nice full sentence for this one. Makrand, meanwhile, Sylviana, a little confidence booster. Makrand says, hey, Adrian, received my test results a couple of days ago, scored 7.5 overall. Thanks for your guidance. Makrand, that's really good. 7.5 is solid. That will basically get you anywhere you need to go. Makrand, can you please send me an email? I would love to get your testimonial. People love knowing that there's real humans here that are actually doing a great job on the IELTS. So Makran, if you can send me an email, I would love to get your testimonial on our websites. That would be fantastic if you are willing, of course. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So Nadi, good. Nadi, one of our newer members, says this, and Nadi, I can tell you're remembering your ideas from part 2. Thanks, Makran. I see your response there. Will surely do. Thank you. Okay, Nadi says, the more common places to meet people and socialize are gyms, libraries, and even a church. Yeah, okay, Nadi, so that's a good start, all right, because you're remembering those ideas that we had for part 2. And this is where even those boring ideas like cafe, library can be very useful. Now, Natty and everybody else, remember to give explanations and examples, okay, to make it a high band score. So this is a great start, but you do need to include this. So this would be considered a bit too short for a part 3 answer, okay? All right. So, of course, naturally here, the examiner's idea or your listener's idea is why, not why. So I would continue this because people go to these places with similar interests in mind, like to get fit, learn new knowledge, or share in their faith. That's a nice one for church or any religious building. Okay, so I met my best friend John at my local gym last year. All right, Nadi, check that out. Okay, so the more common places to meet and socialize are gyms, libraries, and even a church, because people go to these places with similar interests in mind, like getting fit, learning new ideas, or sharing in their faith. I met my best friend John at my local gym last year. Right? Nadi, makes sense? Explanations, examples. If the examiner interrupts you, if you're trying to say, I met my, and then the examiner's like, then, you know, okay, well, this examiner is a little bit uptight. They don't want too much talking, so I'll keep it to just to the answer and the explanation. But don't make your answers really short, okay? It's better to be interrupted once or twice than to never be interrupted during your exam and you're speaking too short, so the examiner's just like, fluency, 5. So you don't want that, okay? You want to show fluency. It's not good to be interrupted at every question. That's a bad idea. But if you get interrupted once or twice, that gives you an idea that, okay, I'm on the right track. I'm just being a little bit too fluent, a little bit too explanatory. Okay. All right. Romelia, good to have you back in here. I sent you an email, Romelia. Reply to that if and when you see it. Okay. So during the break, I did that. All right, so here we go. This is speaking. Make sure to speak and repeat. Okay. Bogdan says, well, besides universities that I've mentioned in the previous part, museums are a great place to socialize because people go to these venues with common interests, looking at pictures and pondering about their meaning. This is where I met my friend Jane 2 months ago. Bogdan, good. Yeah. Now, places, really pay attention to plurals in questions. If it says, what are common places where people socialize? Try to name at least 2, 3. So aside from university that I mentioned in part 2, museums, Libraries, cafes are also great places to meet new people. People visit these museums because of their interest in a display or in a painter. I actually met my friend Jane looking at the Picasso exhibit a couple years ago, right? So few more places, Bogdan, but you're on the right track, okay? And then it says, which of these is the best to meet a new friend? Okay, I think university is likely the best place to meet with a new friend because they are most likely a cohort with very similar interests that have much to talk about and perhaps with a matching personality. Okay, there's my answer. Now notice this time I didn't put an example in there. I just gave an answer. So which of these is the best to meet a new friend? I think university is likely the best place to meet with a new friend because they are most likely a cohort with similar interests that have much to talk about and perhaps with some matching personality traits. Okay, a cohort is a person who is the same age group as you. Okay, that's your cohort. All right, learn vocabulary. When I give you new vocabulary, practice it, write it down. Try to use it during volunteering. Okay. Okay, Chayani. This is for the previous question. Says, the public places that people keep in touch. That's strange, Chayani. So don't use an expression unless you're sure you're using it accurately. To keep in touch means to stay in contact after you've already made that friend. So the public places where people get in touch with others are. So slight difference, but an important difference there, Chayani. So careful with that. Gym, library, and dance school because they have the same interests. So they decide to go to these places. I met my close friend, Talula, since I've been learning dance together, since we've been dancing together. Okay. All right. Grow along with me says, I think the gym is the best place to meet new friends because we're there with similar interests, and this helps to facilitate conversations, okay? So I'm going to give you a little bit better vocabulary for this idea at the end. You wrote, which can help to know each other in a better way. It's a bit awkward, okay? So let's rephrase that. I think the gym is the best place to meet new friends because we're there with similar interests, and these help to facilitate. Facilitate means create the environment or create the situation. Helps to facilitate exciting conversations. I met my friend Peter there, and we got into talking about health drinks the first time we had a chat, right? If you really want to give an example of that. Okay? So facilitate a conversation. Okay, that's a good collocation, a good word pairing to keep in mind. All right, students, as I mentioned, I really want to focus a lot of our attention on practice. So as you can see, we've got lots of questions here. Now, many of you are in these classes regularly. For those of you who are new, do not worry. Volunteer. I will give you tips, strategies, and feedback as we go along, okay? So here it is. This is how you volunteer for speaking. First of all, you need to go to the website. That's where you can use the chat interface, kind of like Skype or Zoom, but without video. Some people say Skypey, but in American Canadian English, it's actually Skype, not Skypey. Okay, so go there and log into your My Student account. So again, the websites look like this. This is the general. You can log in there, or you can log in through the academic to get the premium version of our course. That big red button, ladies and gents, I keep pointing at it, not just to push advertising, but to really give you tools for success. Okay, I strongly believe that if you use the website just an hour or two, a few times a week before your exam, you will score better. We are connected with IELTS, British Council, IDP, so you're in good hands. And go to your My Student account. You'll see your computer-based practice exams, your full interactive course, your exam books that you can download, your lesson videos, your audio CDs, additional services. And here on the right, you will see editing, and then here you will see the student partner speaking. Please use that for right now. Click on it, get in there, and start volunteering. There's Nat, one of our premium students. I wonder if Nat is the same person as Natty. Is that you, Natty? Nat GK? Yes? I'm going to check because I think it is. We'll try to connect with Nat. Nat's been giving some good answers here. Okay. All right, let's see. Yes, it's me. Okay. That answers that question. Are you there? And I'm guessing you are. Are you ready? Okay, you are. I'll stop typing. Here we go.
Hello.
Hi, Nat.
Hello. How are you, Adrian?
I am doing great. So, first quick question. Should I go with Natty or Nat?
Natty is fine.
Natty. Okay. Yeah. It sounds more feminine, I think, Natty than Nat. For sure.
Thank you.
Because there's Nat is also a nickname for Nathaniel.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's a common English name, Nathaniel, and Nathaniel short version like Mike for Michael, it's Nat for Nathaniel. So Natty's definitely, I would recommend that for sure. All right, Natty, you are a member, you're a premium member on the website. That's awesome. How are you liking the materials and the classes?
Actually, I'm not using them, but I should.
That was a very honest answer. I appreciate honesty. That's great. No, definitely use it. If you check your My Student account and you go to that third tab, there's actually a 30 and a 60-day study plan. So it's a good place to start. Okay. Actually,
I prefer to watch your classes in YouTube.
Yeah, that's we're so human, right? We want to connect with people, and I get that. But if you have the chance, I highly recommend it. Okay, Natty, well, thank you for volunteering. It's good to connect with you. Can you tell me where you are in the world today?
I'm Spanish. I am in Madrid.
Okay, in Madrid. Okay, why are you taking the IELTS exam?
Because I would like to go to live abroad, and I need to score about 7.
Fair enough. Okay. All right. Yes, IELTS is getting more and more competitive all the time. So years ago, when I started teaching, it was 6.5 was enough for a lot of goals. Nowadays, it's looking like it's closer to 7 for
7 or 8.
yeah,
Yeah.
or even 8. Yes, you're right. Okay, well, Natty, let's get into it. So I will ask you a few questions and give me some nice full sentence answers. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about social places and practices. What are common places where people can socialize with others?
So the more common places I find that people can go and socialize with each other can be gyms, theaters, even shopping centers, the church. For example, last year I met my best friend John at the gym in a dance class, and since then we go every week together to this class.
Which of these places is the best to meet a new friend?
Well, as for my experience, I would say that the gym is the best place for me. I'm trying to go there a couple of times, if I can, 3 times a week. And most of the time we are the same people there, so it's easy to socialize and do colleagues there.
Has socializing face to face become more or less common than in the past?
Well, I will say, from my point of view, socializing face to face is getting less popular thanks to the technology and all these apps we have. No, meeting people nowadays is less common.
Okay, I'm going to stop there
Thank you.
and I'll give you some feedback. All right. Natty, yes, of course. My brain is working now. I know exactly who you are from your voice and your answers.
Yeah.
And the first second I was like, wait a second. Okay, good improvement from our session yesterday. First of all, I realized you really paid attention to not using you. Okay, which is very good. All right. So your answers were more professional. Okay, and part 3 should sound like a professional conversation. It's not a chit chat. And definitely when a speaker uses words like, oh, when you go to the gym, you can meet other people that are like you, it's not professional. So it's good that you avoided that this time. Okay. Mm-hmm. And again, just a reminder, same as with my feedback, you have to pay attention to the grammar of the questions, okay? So this last question I asked you was, has socializing face-to-face become more or less popular than in the past? This is more or less asking for present perfect. It's change over time. You did not reflect the present perfect. The examiner is specifically listening for that, okay? So when they're thinking band 7 to band 9, they're really listening for past perfect, present perfect, use of passive voice, progressive, direct, indirect quotations or speech. So those higher levels of grammatical communication. So you said, well, I will say that from my point of view, it is. So use the present, right? It is getting less popular. Just simply change it to it has become less popular to communicate face to face, and immediately you're going towards a better band score. So as is, that would be about a 7.5. Make those corrections and you're going towards a 7.58. Okay?
Yes.
And when you need a 7, especially when your overall needs to be a 7, in every section you should be aiming for at least a 7.5 to 8. So you should always aim above the required score, right? Makes sense.
I would like an 8.
Yeah. So one more quick tip, avoid the for example. Okay, so in the first question where I asked you what are common places, you had a really good start. You said, so the more common places I find that people go to socialize. That was very nice and natural language. And then you said, for example, last year.
Yeah.
If you say, for example, once in the in part 1 or part 3, it's not the end of the world. Hopefully the examiner isn't too strict about this phrase, but because of their experiences, the examiner experiences, they tend to kind of freak out in their head when they hear the for example or for instance, because what often happens to them in their situation is the candidate will say, for example, last year I met my best friend John at the gym. We were hanging out. I was doing some bench press and this guy came over. He was looking at, and so they start going into this like ramble. And so the examiner's like, uh-oh. So they interrupt you. And when they hear you say, for example, they cut off what you're saying. So just directly say it, right? So instead of, for example, just say, last year I met my friend John at the gym, and then that's it. And then they don't have time to interrupt. Okay?
Yes.
All right. So that's how you want to do it.
Thank you so much for your feedback.
Okay, keep up the good work, Natty, and we'll talk again soon, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye for now. Bye.
Bye.
All right, that was Natty. She's very studious, working really hard to make sure she gets her desired band scores. Okay, all right. All right, so let's keep going here, students. Let's take another volunteer, Kwan, a premium student I have not seen before. Kwan, are you there? We like to hear new voices, and we've got a good amount of time today, everyone. So we'll take a few people for sure. So hang in there. Different people make different mistakes at different times. Learn from each other, okay? We all tend to make similar mistakes at some time or at some point in time. Okay, here we go, Kwan. Yes, Philo, you're right. Saying, for example, also sounds like it's a prepared answer. I agree with you. That's the other problem. All right. Kwan, are you there? I don't hear you, Kwan. I'm not sure where you're at. Kwan, not sure which country you're in right now. Based on your name, I'm guessing somewhere in East Asia. If you are in Vietnam or nearby there, maybe ask Phuong, who's just below you here in the chat, how she connects, because Phuong is able to connect pretty much all the time. So check it out, see what's going on, okay? And then go from there. All right, students, use Wi-Fi, use a LAN connection if you can, use a laptop if you can, okay? Using phones and data, or cell phone service, it's tricky, right? You're using YouTube and a chat interface. It's internet's not quite there yet. Okay, Kwan, don't call me, Kwan. I'll call you, otherwise it gets really messy, okay? So check with somebody else first, Kwan. Before trying to call me, check with somebody else. Try to connect with Phuong. If you can do it, if you can connect with Phuong and everything works, then come back for the next question. Okay? All right. Amra, are you there? I believe we've talked to Amra, but not in a long time. Let's see if Amra's there. Amra, also one of our longtime members. And thanks for the thumbs up for Natty, everybody. That's awesome. Yeah, definitely support each other. It's important. Speaking a foreign language can be so stressful sometimes. Amra, if you are there, let me know. Let's get a hold of each other. Oh, check the chat, students, when you've got it open. Make sure you see those messages. Amra, I'm going to give you a countdown. Kurmangazi, follow the instructions that Chen has put into the chat and you can connect, okay? All right. Let's see. Helen's been trying to connect here for a bit, so let's see if Helen can... Helen, hopefully you figured it out. Did you test it with other people? Because I know you had trouble in the past. So are you ready? Did you test it with other people? Did you make a connection? Hopefully yes. Okay, let's try it. Okay, Helen, if you're there, give me a sign. I do not see your reply, Helen. All right. Let's try somebody who's regularly able to connect and we talk to often. Make sure that the system is Not having a hiccup. Fong, are you there? If we're able to connect with Fong, then you'll know that it's not on my end. So it usually isn't. As you can tell, we just spoke with Natty. So yes, all right. Yes, Chen, my reaction is like, huh? All right. Fong, you were able to respond to me in the chat, but I don't hear you. All right. Yeah, maybe it is a hiccup, right? Fuang, I cannot hear you. Okay, let me do something here real quick. Let me just refresh my page. Sometimes, students, when there's lots of us in here, it's worth a try to just do a quick refresh. So I'm going to do a shift refresh on my page, and that should hopefully fix it. And then we'll go again. I think it should be fine. I think it should be fine. All right. Yeah, because the disconnect can happen on both sides, right? It can happen on my side and it can happen on your side as well. Okay. So let's see. All right. Here we go. Let's reach out to Frost. Frost, are you ready? Yes, great.
Hello.
Hi, Frost. How are you?
Hi.
Frost, is this the first time we're talking with each other?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, I think you had some issues before with connecting, but now it's good. Did you change something?
Yeah, I use the VPN and connect to Canada.
Ah, you VPN through Canada. Smart, and it works.
And I'm at East Asia, so others can try this method.
Yeah, VPNs are definitely good. Yeah, with the internet across the world, it's still tricky sometimes, but I can hear you very well, Frost. It's like you're sitting next to me. Where in East Asia are you?
I'm at Taiwan.
You're in Taiwan. Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. Which city?
Taichung City. Have you been to Taiwan?
I have not, but I have a friend living in Taipei, so I'm a little bit familiar with it. Okay, and why are you taking the IELTS exam?
I'm aiming to immigrate to another country, so I need to get a band 7 or higher.
Okay, which country may I ask?
Actually, I haven't decided yet, and maybe Canada or Australia or New Zealand.
I was going to say come to Canada. It's awesome here.
Oh, but I'm not sure I can endure the cold weather.
Then come to Vancouver or Victoria. We don't have that much cold weather here. So, not as hot as Australia, though. I'll give you that. Australia is definitely warmer. Not as hot as Taiwan either. All right, Frost. I'm going to ask you some part 3 questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So again, we're talking about social places and practices. Some people think that pubs and dance clubs are good places to socialize, while others feel the opposite. Why is there this difference?
Well, to me, I have never been to pub or dance clubs because in my country they are not really popular, and I think this is one of the reasons that some people will take upside on this topic, because in Chinese culture, going to a pub or dance club are often recognized as a bad habit, and therefore we admire people that go to libraries or study after school, and to exchange.
Let's talk about meeting new people. What are good ways to start a conversation with a new acquaintance?
Well, I would say to start a new conversation, you must try to find a common topic to start first, and this will make sure your listener and the guy you want to interact with will pay attention to the conversation because they may also interested in it.
Can you give an example?
Well, for example, you can talk about the weather or the activities that happens around you, like there's a nice shop over there, and would you like to have a cup of tea with me and enjoy the weather?
Okay, Frost. That was great. Let's stop there. That was good. All right, Frost. That would be about a band 5.5, maybe 6. Okay, so between moderate to fluent user. So you're closer to the fluent. I want to say more of a 6. Now, keep in mind this is part 3, so it's the most challenging part, and it's where people tend to score the lowest out of the 3 parts. You've got good ideas. So I think that in your head you have some very clear answers for these questions. You just have to express your answers a bit better, and I will tell you how to do that, okay? So this first one here, some people think that pubs and dance clubs are good places to socialize, while others feel the opposite. Here you really spoke the truth. Like in my country, we don't have these kinds of places. And you almost went into a philosophy, like you started to really give a lot of information. And you don't want to do that on the IELTS, okay? On the IELTS, you want to be more concise, more direct, okay? So you can say, for instance, in Taiwan, there aren't many pubs or dance clubs because they promote bad behavior, like drinking. So here people prefer libraries. I think that's why people don't like these places, but some people like it because it's easy to talk to others when a person's kind of drunk, right? So that would be a concise answer. That would be the short version of what you were saying. Do you get what I'm saying? You get what I mean? So anytime when you're practicing your speaking, anytime you feel like it takes you too long, too many words to explain the situation, then go back, try the question again, and try to say the same ideas, but just a lot faster, a lot shorter. Do you get it?
Yes, I get it.
Okay, Frost, let's practice that. I'm going to ask you this one more time. And by the way, everybody watching, you can also practice this, okay? So do the same thing that Frost is doing. Practice the question. Because you could be my next volunteer. So I will ask the question again, Frost. Here we go. Some people think that pubs and dance clubs are good places to socialize, while others feel the opposite. Why is there this difference?
Well, in my hometown, in my home country, Taiwan, there's not much place like pubs or dancing club because these places often promote drinks, and therefore they are considered a bad place to go. And people in Taiwan often admire to exchange ideas or to socialize in libraries or campus and finding the same
Okay, let's slow it down there. Frost, you're doing better, so you're being more concise. We can go even more concise. So notice how you said like in my country, in Taiwan, right? Just keep it simple. In Taiwan, right? It's 2 words, in Taiwan, right? And then always remember the 2 sides of the question, right? So these places are not popular. And then you can say, but some people feel it's easy to talk to others after a couple of drinks.
Okay.
Try it. But some people feel it's...
Okay, but some people often feels easier to socialize after a couple cups of drinks.
Okay, couple drinks, yes.
A couple of drinks.
Yeah, or a couple cups of beer, you can say maybe. Okay, good, Frost. That was much better. So concise. So practice your concise language, and I guarantee you'll score better when it comes to exam time. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Frost, thanks for giving everybody the tip about VPNing from Asia through Canada. That's a good tip. Thank you for being a member and volunteering. Keep coming back, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Bye, Frost.
Bye.
All right, students, I'm going to refresh my page here again just to get the best connection. So you can do that for now. We're working on updating our servers as well, but you can continue to just refresh the page a couple of times to really get those good, solid connections. Let's give Frost a thumbs up. That was his first time volunteering, and you know what? For first time, that was fantastic. No complaints, right? Sylviana says, well done, Frost. Yeah. Jaren says, I'm watching from the Philippines. Chen says, good job, Frost. Okay, cool. We like newcomers. We like people who come back too. Chayani, regularly back for practice. Let's see if Chayani's there. Are you ready, Chayani? I think Chayani's also from Philippines. I always confuse that. Yanni's going to be like, no, Indonesia. But we'll see if Yanni is there today. Yanni, are you there? You might have to do a refresh because I refreshed. Okay. All right.
How are you?
I'm good, Yanni. How are you?
I'm doing fine today, and I have done a lot of practice for IELTS preparation.
Mm-hmm. Good,
Yeah.
good. And I think Sylviana just corrected me. She said that you're from Indonesia, right?
Yeah, I'm from Indonesia.
You should give Sylviana a thumbs up.
Yeah.
She's paying attention to you. Me? Oh, I'm being bad. All right, Yanni. Well, you're practicing lots, and that is great. That's definitely the key. And you're doing lots of grammar practice, Yanni?
Yeah, of course.
Good. Okay, keep doing that. All right, ready for some questions?
Yes, even though I'm quite afraid because it's need to time to generate the idea of this question.
Buy time. So if you need time, buy time. Remember, you can always say that's an interesting question, or I need time to you can, even if it's not an interesting question and you're just nervous and you can't think of the answers, just simply say I need a moment to I'm nervous. I need a moment to think about it. You can say that, okay? So here we go. Let's talk about meeting new people. What are good ways to start a conversation with a new acquaintance?
Well, in my opinion, people can start a new conversation with a happy expression. So people have encouragement that meet the new people with the positive encouragement.
Can you give an example?
Well, the example that just give a shiny smile that can people interact with the new people positively without any negative thoughts.
Okay, good. We'll stop there for a second and focus in on this. Okay. So not bad. That was good. The grammar was fairly good there, Yanni. So that would be a solid 7.5, even maybe an 8 for that one answer. But I think you can make it even better. All right. If I am starting a conversation with a happy expression with positive encouragement, what am I doing? It starts with a C. It's one word. If I say, Yanni, your hair looks great today, and I just started a conversation, what did I do? What did I do for you? Somebody else can help in the chat there as well. It starts with a C, the word that we're looking for. And I think
Compliment.
that's right. And that's what I felt was missing from your answer. I'm like, I'm pretty sure Yanni is trying to tell me that complimenting a person is a good way to start conversations, right?
It's hard to say that word. It's not coming to my mind.
And examiners pick up on that. So they'll be like, yeah, lexical resource 6-7, right? If they don't hear those. If it happens once, it's okay. We don't always think about the best word, but you can't have that as a pattern, right? So it does have to come to mind. So compliment. So, well, in my opinion, people can start a new conversation with a compliment, right?
Okay.
And that would be a very good answer for this. So people can start with positive encouragement, wow, your hair looks great today. Okay. And then I asked you the example, right? I said, can you give an example? And you said, well, they can give a friendly smile without negative thoughts. In this case, so for this question, for sure, the example should be a direct or an indirect quote. right? Because we're talking about conversation starters. So like Frost said, a person can talk about the weather, and then I seem to remember Frost giving some kind of indirect quote. So it just comes naturally here. So Yanni, let's try this one more time. Use the word compliment and actually give a quote of how you would compliment somebody, okay? So ready? Try again.
Ready.
Okay. All right. You can always say, ready as I'll ever be. Okay, here we go, Yanni. What are good ways to start a conversation with a new acquaintance?
Well, in my opinion, people can start a new conversation with a compliment. So people can start with a positive encouragement, like compliment their hair looks for each conversation, so that people can think that it's the better person to meet in the next time.
Brakes, Yanni, brakes, hit the brakes. Hit the brakes. All right. The first half of your answer until you got to encouragement was a band 9. Okay. Then after that, it started to run away. It was like a horse that you let run away and it started going all wild. Instead of that second part that started to get away from you, just really try to give a simple, direct quote, like saying, wow, your hair looks great today. Okay, that's all you need. Try it one more time. And when Yanni's doing this, everybody, instead of just listening to Yanni, try it yourselves, okay? So here we go, Yanni. What are good ways to start a conversation with a new acquaintance?
Well, in my point of view, people can start a new conversation with a compliment. So people can start with a positive encouragement, like, wow, your hair looks so brisk. Yeah.
Band 9. Okay, that's a band 9. That's how you do a band 9, all right?
Is it able, sir? Is it able to use expression like wow in answering the question?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's natural. Oh. It's expressive. There's a special word for those kinds of words, but yes, it's a good word to use. So it makes us feel the conversation. Definitely. Like, wow, your hair looks great today. It's a direct quote in this case, right? It's a direct speech, and it's definitely a good use of language for sure. Okay, all right. Yanni, keep it up. Keep practicing, okay?
Okay.
Be direct, okay?
Sir, bye, Yanni. I have a question again.
Yes?
How do we present our answer not too fast but not too slow? Because I have my recent feedback from my examiner that I'm speak very fast.
Yeah, exactly. So, you don't want to speak too quick. Fluency and quick speech are not the same, okay? The way that you want to slow your speech is think about what you're saying. So carefully pay attention to what you're saying, and within that, visualize what you're saying. So when I was giving you the instructions for this response, I literally saw you, Yanni, standing there looking at your friend and complimenting them. We're starting the conversation saying, wow, your hair looks good today. So when you visualize the situation and you set up the structure, it will automatically slow your speech and make it more coherent. Okay?
Okay, sir.
So see yourself giving a compliment in this situation. Okay?
Okay, sir.
All right. It. Bye, Yanni.
Bye, sir. Take care.
All right. That was a really good question, by the way. Don't speak too quickly. Okay? All right, let me reach out to another one of our regular students. Thu is back. We spoke to Thu a little bit earlier. Thu, let's see if you're there. Are you ready? I didn't refresh the page this time. Hopefully we still have a solid connection. Thumbs up for Yanni. Yes, Silviana, thank you. Okay, everyone. Thu, if you are patiently waiting there, let me know. Hi, Thu. I kind of heard something there for a second. Thu, are you there? Maybe not. Okay, Thu. I might have a chance to try again in a bit. I'm going to refresh the page again. So students, if you're watching, just refresh your page also. Send me a message again. Okay, just if you're there, and it's actually a good way to know that you're there and you're volunteering. Kwan, you can give it a try again. Okay, I know you didn't fully get a chance there. Maybe you're trying a VPN also, like Frost, possibly. Oh, Phuong says the internet in Vietnam is off today. Nipa, I can't. Phuong just said the internet's a bit shaky. Yeah, that happens sometimes. The internet at the end of the day is reliant on infrastructure. So, and when we're using it like this, we're really using it, right? YouTube, video, audio. We are using that bandwidth. Emin, you're very welcome. All right. Okay, who is volunteering? Oh, Kevin. Let's see if Kevin's there. Kevin. Are you ready? Kevin's a longtime student who is also an English teacher and jumps in every now and then. I believe this is the same Kevin. Hi, Kevin.
Oh, hi. Hello back to you, Mr. Adrian.
How are you? Long time no speak.
Yes, I'm so glad that I am chosen. It's now nearing 11:30 in Vietnam. I'm a little bit sleepy, but again, you have just woken me up, Mr. Adrian.
Okay, all right. Well, I still hope you can get some good Z's tonight when you hit the hay. Kevin, how is life? How are your projects? I know that last we spoke, you were still a little bit indecisive about what to do next, teaching English, traveling, and so forth. Have you decided on what you're doing?
I wish I could say that I have made up my mind, but again, I haven't. But the good news is that I have put myself out there. I've been doing some projects so that I can see where my heart is at. So I really do hope that I can see my true calling soon, sir. But thank you so much for asking.
All right. Yeah, nice use of English there, Kevin, with put yourself out there and finding your true calling. Those are some really great expressions. So pay attention to those, students. Kevin always has some very nice natural expressions to bring to the class. When you catch those, write those down. All right. Kevin, are you ready for a few questions?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Has socializing face-to-face become more or less common than in the past?
From my observation, in-person conversations have declined in popularity compared to the past as people have turned to online forums. This is because they save people a great deal of time and money to travel over long distances to talk directly, and modern day people are just obsessed with the cost effectiveness and time saving manners of the methods of communication in their lives.
Some people think that pubs and dance clubs are good places to socialize, while others feel the opposite. Why is there this difference?
I guess perhaps it's because, on the one hand, pubs and dance clubs encourage club goers to mingle with strangers, like coming over to another table or proposing toasts. But at the same time, it might be a bad idea to make new friends there because most people are just seeking sexual intercourse rather than true friends. In fact, many people avoid these places because they are sick with men who are womanizers there.
Okay, I'm going to stop there and give some feedback. All right, that was some great English. So that would definitely be putting you in the band 8.5 to 9 category. Kevin, as you know, you've got good English. You've sat the IELTS a few times and you've gotten into that band range, which is great. Vocabulary, I mean, there's no doubt can help expression. Absolutely. So doing lots of reading, lots of practice, picking up the words and using them. One reason why Kevin is so good at this, and this is for everybody watching, is because Kevin uses the vocabulary that he gets from reading and watching movies and interacting, and through use, through teaching, it's a great way to learn. So I highly encourage it. One really important step for high band scores is good paraphrasing. And here the question was, has socializing face-to-face become more or less common? Kevin said, from my observation, in-person conversations. In-person conversation is a very nice paraphrase for face-to-face socializing. So that was a really nice direct paraphrase there. And less common was paraphrased by Kevin as have declined, also showing the present perfect. Here's some nice natural language. People have turned to online forms of communication because they're convenient, right? So the answer was very clear, very nice use of natural language, and good lexical resource, good reflection of grammar. Gets that band 859. Okay, that's what the examiner is looking for. That's considered very good to expert level of communication. All right, some nice natural self-corrections there too. Now here's an interesting point I want to highlight, Kevin, and I'm glad you took the confidence and bravery to express your thoughts on this. When I asked about going to pubs and dance clubs, right? You said, I guess, perhaps, and you were thinking there, I could tell. It's nice, it's natural. We start that way when we think about our answer, I guess, perhaps, on the one hand. This is where using on the one hand, on the other hand, is accurate, because the question asks that, right, Kevin? It's some people do this, some people do that, right?
Yes.
And then you said pub goers, which is nice natural language, mingle with strangers, proposing a toast. But in other ways, it's negative because a lot of people are interested in these places in sexual intercourse. Now, some people might be very shy to say something like this during their actual IELTS exam.
Yeah.
It's totally okay.
Explicit language.
It's not really though. So it's not. So this is a correct technical term, sexual intercourse. And come on, we're all adults, or I think most of us watching are adults, and you know, it's definitely a part of reality. And I think we're all thinking it, and it's a part of the truth. So you don't need to be scared as long as you are, you know, being professional to express yourself like this. It's a good way to do it. And then you explain, you said a lot of women are sick of men who are womenizers, right? So and that's again nice natural language. There's nothing wrong with that. The examiner is not going to give you a bad mark because you said something like that. In fact, they will give you a good mark because it's a good explanation. Okay, so you just have to be professional. That's what's important. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Can I have just a small question before I
Yeah, absolutely.
So yes, again, it's not really about part 3. I was planning to ask this question back in part 2, but anyway, so for part 2, Mr. Adrian, what's your thought on leading in the answer? I mean, I really don't see any point in doing that. Like in the first sentence of the answer, so many people out there, again, they really just almost like they're praising leading in sentences. What do you think about that?
It's a bad idea. So again, it doesn't. So this is a point. So you're thinking about, you know, statements like, "Thank you for giving me the opportunity to discuss the topic of places to socialize." There are lots of places to socialize, like pubs, dance clubs, libraries, and schools. But the one I would like to talk about today is my local dance studio. So this is what you're talking about, right? This kind of leading into the question.
Almost. Yes, but again, I'm not really. I don't really share that opinion. I just don't think that it really answers the question.
It doesn't.
And when I did the test, I didn't really do that. Yes.
No, it doesn't, and you shouldn't do that. So I did briefly touch on this in the last class about starting with an interesting, direct answer. And this doesn't need to be debated. So, there are some instructions online and on YouTube videos where people say, oh, you should do this to get a band 8, or oh, you should say this word to get a band 9. So what I encourage everybody to do, because it is hard, and I think Natty mentioned this to me the other day when we were talking about it, that there's just a lot of garbage out there, for better lack of words. Use your critical thinking, use your logic, okay? With topics like presentations, where part 2 is basically a mini presentation, you don't have to overcomplicate. Just think about what are the standard rules of giving a good presentation. And one of the most basic standard rules of giving a good presentation is to be direct with your audience. So don't say what you will talk about, just talk about it. Don't talk about all the other ideas around it, talk about the specific idea, right? So if you look at how, that works, then it's not a mystery. And then you can find the right information. Does that make sense, Kevin?
Yes, absolutely, sir.
Okay.
Again, it really just it was really just instilled in me lots of confidence. I kind of was a little bit insecure before, but now I'm much more confident of my belief now. Thank you once again, Mr.
Absolutely.
Adrian.
And just to put a final point to that, examiners do get tired. They won't express it. You won't see it on their face. They're professional, but they get tired of candidates who come in with these 20, 30-second leading kind of phrases that everybody uses, and they absolutely do not get you points, but they waste important time that you can use to be more specific and direct for vocabulary. So that's the bad side, okay, of that. All right, Kevin, thank you so much for volunteering, sharing your English with us, those lovely expressions, and keep up the good work. We'll talk again, okay?
Thank you, sir. I will.
Okay, bye, Kevin.
Bye for now. Thank you.
All right, that was Kevin. Yeah, that was great. Kevin, fantastic user of the English language, not just English, but he's a good communicator. And that's what, when you're at the band 7, 8, 9 level, you need to focus on communication skills just as much as you focus on your English language skills. Okay, that's a very important closing tip for everybody in today's class. As you can tell, today's class is a little bit shorter, half an hour. That's because I'm going to do some filming for some speaking interviews shortly, and I need to set up for that. But I encourage everybody to continue using the website, continue using the chat interface, talk to each other. It's a nice place to meet people that have similar interests, such as travel, working abroad, learning abroad. So talking about places to meet people, aehelp.com on the website, in the chat. Just don't share personal information with each other, okay? Like phone numbers and addresses and family names and things like that. Join the premium package by clicking the big red button that I'm highlighting just above my head there, okay? It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. It's well worth it. For general IELTS students, it's gltshelp.com. It's right here. Join there. Students, I wish you a lovely remainder of the weekend. I will be back next week on Tuesday, on the 14th, with Speaking Part 1. Okay, so mark it in your calendar. And again, until then, visit us at aehelp.com, gltshelp.com. If you have questions, send me an email. You can see my email address at the start of this class or at the start of the live lessons. Chen, thank you for moderating. I saw there was a bit of work there, making sure we stay focused. Volunteers, thank you again. Everybody, enjoy life. That's why we're here. And I hope to see you all next week. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Canada. Bye for now.